All right, what's going on? Welcome back to the Thursday Night Hang here on the OnoLive channel. We do this live stream about coffee and cigars every Thursday night, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. Good to see all of you. We're here, right? Nice. Was it February 26th? February's already over, man. Time just goes by so fast, so fast, so fast. So tonight we got some coffee, and tonight's actually a show that's going to be fueled by kindness of friends because both the coffee and tonight's cigar were gifted to me from friends. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So how's it going? Hope your week was good. We are here looking to do, I don't know, coffee, cigars, the usual stuff. So how you doing? Let me know where you are, where you're smoking, if you're what you're drinking. Let me know all those things, as I always want to know what everyone is doing out here. So let's get into it already. We're gonna start off with a coffee. What's going on, Mom? How are you doing? That Mom will already be familiar with, but this is a coffee that was gifted to me by Andrew. Andrew was down in New Zealand visiting family, and he brought me this bag from Raglan Roast. Raglan Roast is a coffee roaster that started out by a bunch of surfers in a town called Raglan. Raglan is a town about 2 hours south of Auckland, and it's a surf town on the beach. And the guys, I guess they got their stories that they got an old roaster. They fixed it up, and then they started roasting coffee for, I guess Kiwi people, they're kind of crazy. So they just do these weird things. They started roasting, and then they started giving it away. I mean, meaning that they gave it away on this honor system. So there's a type of honor system down there where you get the coffee, and then you drink it, and then you come back and pay later. And years later, they have 12 locations, and this is one of them. Raglan Roast, and this is their Mocha Java. Mocha Java originally historically is a combination of two coffees, a blend of two coffees from the port of Mocha in Yemen, and Java meaning somewhere in Indonesia. Indonesian coffees and the Yemeni coffees go very well together. Yemeni coffees tend to be like fruity and natural, whereas the Indonesians tend to be a little bit heavier, a little bit more earthy. So usually has a really nice, deeper chocolate flavor with a little bit of punch. So that's always a nice thing. But this is a little bit different. This has coffees from Africa, South America, and Indonesia. So it's a little bit different blend. I don't really know why they call it mocha. There's no mocha in it. And it doesn't mean chocolate. There may be chocolatey notes, but there's no chocolate in it. And so we've got this. I already pre-ground it and put it into our clever to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to have our clever. George is with us. What's going on, man? How are you doing? At least we got some nicer weather to be out in the weather tonight, huh? I'm happy. You might be seeing that things look a little bit different because the big workbench that I normally sit at inside the garage is under renovation. I have been upgrading some elements on it. So basically I didn't take it apart necessarily. I took a bit of it apart and put new components, and I'm trying to make it better. And it's just, it was supposed to be something that happened back in November, and I started just to put a vise in it. And that was almost a disaster. Like, I was trying to install the vise above my head, and it almost fell on my head, which would have been really bad. But I took a break from it, came back to it now, and I thought it'd be a lot faster. But, every time you do a little tweak, you're like, I should tweak these other things that I've been wanting to tweak for a long time now. So I'm just like, I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it all. And yeah, what comes, whatever may come, right? That's the whole thing. So let's get our coffee here. You can see here's the coffee. Looks nice. Ground it up. 24 grams. We're going to do 12 ounces of water. So we're going to take our water. I've already got it pre-boiled. George says it's actually pleasant compared to, oh yeah, man. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. All right, let's put the water in. We're going to leave a little headroom just in case. Cover it up. You want to keep the cover on the clever because, it's you don't want to let the heat dissipate. So how's your week been? Everything been good? Anything interesting happening? George, are you guys... I remember last week we were talking about this with Rusty, and Rusty said that they were like, I think they had 1 day left for snow days before they had to extend the school year. I'm presuming that with the big blizzard they had up in Jersey, they're going into extra snow days. But how about you guys? Are you still on the edge, or did you guys go over as well? I'm curious to know. I don't know why I'm curious. I'm just curious about those kind of things. But yeah, so myself, I've been working on that the last couple of days and getting coffee ready. So I've got to do some roasting tomorrow, and should be kind of interesting. But yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Now we just got to wait for the coffee to brew. It's not terribly exciting, I guess. But tonight we went. Our cigar is going to be kind of a return. Like those of you've heard, of course you're here, so you've seen the titles. We're returning to the Revenge. So the Revenge, evidently, I didn't realize this until a couple months ago, but evidently the Revenge by RoMa Craft Intemperance BA21 has been out of production for at least 2 years. I think it's a question. Maybe they couldn't get the wrapper or something, the Brazil Arapiraca, but it's been out of production for 2 years. And it was Sean Coleman. The one time I saw him, he was like, "Hey man, Mike Rosales called me, and he's like, we're starting production again. We're going to have it again soon." So he's like, "We're going to save you some." And I was like, "All right, thank you, my brother. I appreciate that." But this is not one of those, right? Tonight's cigar actually was gifted to me by Dave Knopf, one of my good friends. He was like, "Hey, I found these out there in the wild. They were in somebody's back inventory. They didn't really know they were there, so we got them for you." I was like, "Oh, thank you, man. That's very, very kind." And here it is. We got it in here, waiting for us. So this is a cigar from at least 2 years ago. So if production's been out for 2 years, it's 2 or 3 years old. And I'm curious to know what it's going to be like. George says we added 4 days to the end of the year and lost 2 PD days. Physical, I don't know. PD days during the school year. Personal days. Personal days? Parent planning days, something like that. During the school year, last day is 6/18. Okay, 6/18. But I guess if you have more, if we end up having crazy snow again, that will be I guess that's going to be a fluid 6/18. So yeah, this cigar, I don't know how old it is. I mean, who knows how long it's been sitting in the inventory? Who knows when it was produced? There is no indication of any of that, at least on the one cigar. So it's at least 2 years old. It could be 3, maybe it's more. I don't know, but I figured we'll give it a try and see how it pairs. And we had talked about this and that we had used the Intemperance before on the show, and I thought it was relatively recently, but I looked it up and it turns out it was episode 87, which happened, I forgot what part of year it happened, but it's in the show notes. So, but it was 2022, so nearly 4 years ago. I was like, wow, 4 years. That's a long time. Like, I'm so surprised at how long it has been since we had this. So back then, it got an 87, which I think is a very respectable score. And it's one of those things where I feel like, at least for me, the cigar, like this is the cigar that I have gravitated to for quite a long time. It's kind of my go-to cigar. It's one of those cigars I would smoke on a very regular basis, but it's not ranked the greatest of all time, right? It's just like 87, solid performing, very high, very good, just solid, just super solid. And that's kind of like what I think is really appealing to me. And I think for a lot of people, they don't necessarily need to have super spectacular all the time, just something that's solid, dependable, reliable, that they really groove with and can get on a regular basis. So, what time is it now? It is, oh yeah, this is good. 4 minutes. Okay, good, 4 minutes. We're going to take this now. And the nice thing about the Clever is you don't really have to do anything. I prefer, when I'm brewing coffee for myself, I prefer to brew coffee in a way that's very, very simple. And I don't need to do a lot of attention to it. So I just take that, put that on top here like this. And now we just let it flow. You guys have seen this before. There's nothing new here. This is all kind of the same. What you want to do is make sure you give this a little opening here, because sometimes it will get sucked down and then it will stop the flow. Like I can feel a little bit of vacuum pressure right now. So just leave it ajar. Is it a little bit fuzzy? that better? I don't know if that's any better. All right. Oh, good. There we go. We got full cup of coffee. Very nice. Oh, nice. Good sweetness, good body. Not too heavy on the body, kind of more medium, light body. Some nice chocolate notes. That's fairly pleasant. And I suspect it's going to be a nice accompaniment for our cigar tonight. So I'm going to put the cap on. And now we can move on to the main event. The RoMa Craft Revenge. No surprises here, no surprises. But I think it's nice to take, your cigar, the cigar that you like above all others, that you smoke the most. I think it's good to give it a nice critical evaluation every once in a while, every blue moon. So here it is, the RoMa Craft Revenge. And box pressed Robusto, like what, 5 by 50, something like that? Well, maybe it says it right here. Oh, here's something interesting. I don't know what this means. I'm used to Revenges not having manufacturer stickers on them, right? Look at that. There's a manufacturer sticker on here. It says Revenge LE 2002, 202, or 207. Revenge LE. I don't know if that means, does that LE mean limited edition? Look at that. See what I'm saying? I don't know what that means. I mean, it could just be the regular release. I feel like, though, when I'm looking at this band, the band looks a little bit more yellowish. Now, that could just be the tobacco over the years, but here it is. Here's the thing about the Arapiraca. Arapiraca has this kind of dirty-esque quality to the way that it looks. It always feels very supple, very leathery. Actually, this feels really great. Actually, oh, that feels nice. Gosh. And then the foot is like kind of, what do they call this? Open foot. See, it's not. The wrapper doesn't go all the way around the bottom there, and you can see it's box pressed. I really tend to gravitate towards box press coffee. I mean, box press cigars for my personal smoking. I just love the way the draw comes through it, and I just kind of love the flavors. Like the equivalent to this in the Intemperance line is called the Breach of the Peace. Same size, just not box press. Just regular Robusto. It doesn't smoke the same. It does have a different experience. And there have been times when my fields of Revenges have been fallow, and I've seen the Breach of the Peace at the shops, and I was like, I wonder if I bought a box of the Breach of the Peace and then pressed it myself, like get a piece of like wood, put it in a press, and pressed it down. Would I get the same effect? Like there have been desperate times in previous years. What has tempered my desperation for the Revenge that has caused me to not realize that it's been out has been a constant supply of the RoMa Craft Maestranza Castelluta Murcia. The Murcia is basically the same, basically the same size and shape of cigar in their Maestranza series. And I have been enjoying that for the last year. Like so much so that I didn't realize that, I haven't really bought any Revenges. I haven't seen them in the stores. So it's kind of surprising, but let me just have a look here and do some scoring. We got a nice way. The wrapper's a little bit darker. The fragrance of the tobacco is very muted, kind of like a light manure, but not very heavy, not very forward. Mom says it's semi-closed foot. Oh, that's what it is, semi-closed foot. Semi-closed foot, that must be. I just like the way it looks. Like that, I wonder how they do that. Like, is this just something that they just roll it this way, or they trim it back? I can't imagine they trim it back, but to me, that says, there's a nice level of skill that happens with that. And I found this the other day. I found this yesterday or this morning. Yesterday, yeah, yesterday. This cigarpass.com cutter that was gifted to us by Craig. Thanks, Craig. I know you're not here yet, but we're going to use that to cut our cigar. I like straight cuts, overall. I'll try. Like, if there's a cigar that somebody says, use this particular cut to enjoy it best, I'll try it. But if I left to my own druthers, I'm going to go for the straight cut. The nice thing about this cigar, the draw is always lovely, like just so smooth and easy. There's a sweetness on the tongue, like a sugary sweet, not a sugary sweet, but not like if you're drinking, if you're trying the brulees, the Dunbarton brulees, those are very sweet. Those are like sugar, but like this has a nice sugary type sweetness. George is enjoying the Olmec from Foundation. Why am I not surprised? It is fabulous. Your whole thing with like Nick Manillo cigars is like me with these, so I totally respect that. There's such a nice cold draw on this. All right, let's light it up. I've got the batches back from Churchill's again in Dubai, down to my last three. Devin, what's going on, man? How are you? Are you still on your trips, or are you back already? And were you able to go to 311 in Tokyo? Mm. That took a little bit of time to light. That extra time for the lighting gave it a little bit extra bitterness, right? So I think that was. Let's see if we can see into this. One thing about these RoMas, right? When it starts off, and it's a darker cigar, it's a more brooding cigar, right? It just it's just a little bit heavier, just a little bit more like, almost like a Wednesday Addams of cigars, right? Like a little bit of that Wednesday, like darkness to it. But the draw, so nice. So nice. So easy. So much smoke. Devin says, I'm still tripping. Have not gone yet, but the best roastery for the coffee so far has been Coffee Rights. Oh, where's Coffee Rights? I'm not familiar with that one. If you stop by, if you're in Tokyo and you go to 311 Coffee, it means you're in Ginza. If you happen to have the time, I always encourage people to go to Cafe del Hombre. If you go there, there's a young guy, Nakanishi, or the husband and wife that own the place. Tell them I said hello. Tell them I gave my love to them. You can show them my picture. They'll know. Last time I walked in there, a couple of years ago, was the first time since the Olympics. And Hayashi was like, first thing he said to me was like, I'm sorry, but no more smoking. Man, one of the best was to sit there at the bar at Cafe del Hombre, smoking one of these. Like, most people smoke cigarettes. Some people smoke pipes. And I busted this out, and they were like okay with it. I was like, oh my God, man, this is the God's greatest place on earth. Man, you're still on the road. I can't believe it. I'm so envious. I'm so envious. Starting to feel itchy myself. Yeah, like I said, it's a heavier cigar. It's a brooding cigar. It's got dark notes. It's just kind of this darker adventure. You know, I never really think too much about this cigar because I normally just sit down and smoke it and just enjoy it. But I actually had one 2 nights ago when Dave gave me a few of them, and I was like, oh, let me try this because I haven't had in a while. And it's been a while, so I was like, it's definitely darker. It's heavier than the Castellito Murcia. It's a different smoke, man. It's like a totally different, but it's got this nice like firmness to it. I'm gonna open the door. That way we can get some airflow out of here. It's not terribly cold, so I mean it's not even it's not even it's not even it's not even below 40, so it's kind of nice. And the nice thing about sitting in this chair, the fan just blows right over my head. When I'm sitting at the workbench, I have to sit higher, so if I depending where I position myself, it's blowing on my head, which kind of, especially when it's cold, man, drives me insane. But this cigar I first was introduced to because I originally met Skip back in 2013. I think it was September 2013. I came into Honolulu for a night or for a couple of days. I was coming back from Asia. Went to Honolulu and called up my friend Marvin and said, "Hey man, what's going on? Let's go have a cigar." And he's like, "Hey, we're having a cigar tonight. I'm having an event at the club." I said, "All right, let's go." And it was a RoMa event. And I was a member of the Waikiki Yacht Club back then. And the club has this open air lounge. I mean, everything is open air. You've seen it. I've live streamed from there a couple years ago, and it's really fabulous. The nice thing about Hawaii is that it's always cool breezes, always blowing, except this night. What they call the Kona winds, when all the trade winds just stop and everything just lingers. That night, the RoMa Craft event night, had those winds or the lack of winds, and all this smoke just sat on everyone, and it was like, wow, this is unbelievable. I have never seen this before. But we got a pack of 5 cigars for the event, and I didn't really talk to Skip that night, but I did talk to him the next day because we normally will get together with some friends and have lunch on a Friday afternoon, and they brought Skip, so we were all hanging out talking. I got to know him a little bit. So fast forward a month or so later, he's doing an event down at what is now Capitol. And so I was there and we're hanging out and talking. But I didn't really know his cigars, right? I'm sure in that we had Cro-Magnon and Aquitaine, probably this. And interesting thing is that at that time in 2013, I had been a big PG fan, big Tatuaje fan. What else? Also very much into the Pinar del Rio, the PDR cigars, the 1975 series Privada, the SP54. And again, another box press Maduro, really beautiful cigar, lovely, well balanced. It's totally different now. For whatever reason, they changed the blend a few years ago and it's a different smoke. But back then, God, that was just a brilliant, light body, but just complex, delicious cigar. But we're at this event. And the interesting thing is that I smoked all 5 of those cigars and I didn't understand them, right? I was like, I don't know if I like these. Like when we first met, we're hanging out at lunchtime, and I was like, we're smoking the cigars. I'm like, I'm just sitting there thinking, it's very different. It's so different. The Cro-Magnon, when you come from Tatuaje and like Paul Gamirian, and then you go to the Cro-Magnon, it's a very different experience. Like it's totally, especially back then, it was totally new and it's like very novel. And I was just like, I smoked all five and I just didn't know if I liked it. I just couldn't tell. I wasn't sure. And when I'm not sure, I was like, maybe I don't like them. But Skip came down to the event in DC, so I went down to hang out. And I said to him, hey man, what cigar should I buy? Right? Because I was still trying to figure out what cigars I don't even know if I like these cigars. What should I even try? He's like, get this one box. It's a cigar that we don't sell to anyone. We sell it to this one place in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's exclusive for them, but I have some here. Buy this one. And that was the Revenge. This started out as a store exclusive to a shop in Charlotte, who would later rip me off because I bought a box of cigars from them and then they went out of business and then I never got my $70 back. But I started smoking them then. And I think it was more for me a sleeper. And I would smoke them because I had them and then I started to like them. And then I started to try to find them. Who had them? But back then, my big cigar was not yet this. Like, this was not yet my favorite of the RoMa crafts. Back then, in 2013, they had a cigar called the La Compañía de Soberana, which is this trumpet-style cigar. And I don't know if you've even seen this, like, because it's one of these really hard trumpets, like really like not even a pyramid, but like a cone. It's like a cone. And the 2013 release, I don't know what the blend was. Maybe it's this blend. Maybe that's why I liked it. But I was so like, this is amazing. I was like sucking them down and trying to get as many as I possibly could. And then they released the 2014, which was for a cigar company. It was for the California Megaherf, what they call Cali Megaherf. And I happened to be out in California that year. And I went down, I drove all the way out to Monrovia. Like it's way out there, man. It's like way, I don't know if it's Imperial Valley or whatever it was, but it's from where I was staying in Hermosa Beach, it is way far, right? It's hella far. But I drove out there, I bought a box. They were not as good. Like I really love those 2013s. And then the 2015s came out. And every year they haven't released them in a few years, but every year they released them and I would get them. And they would change slightly. But that first one, that 2013, God, it really just spoke to me like no other cigar. Brian's with us. What's going on, man? How are you doing? I mean, it's just this deep, complex. It's kind of like a good companion, like a solid companion. Maybe some chocolate notes, but just deep, dark, moody, brooding kind of flavors. Those aren't flavors. It's more like emotion. It's like more like feeling. And maybe that's why I like it a lot, because it's more about guttural reaction to it rather than like thinking about, oh, there's floral notes or whatever the other notes may be in other cigars, right? This just gets this like deep, like, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel with this. And I mean, like, and I've smoked maybe hundreds of these by now, and all over the place. Like if I have my druthers, I will bring these with me, and I'll bring a box with me on a trip, and just smoke these. And they always perform so well. Like this cigar, man, it's nice. Like right now, especially like here early on, it's like finding its footing, right? It's announcing, but now it's like in its zone. It's like in its zone right now. It's like totally firing on all cylinders. I mean, I don't know. George, if there's one cigar that may not make it, this may be the one. And there'll be many times when like I'm trying to moderate it a little bit, I think. But I remember there'd be many times that I'd be smoking this particular cigar And I would be thinking, I need to write to Skip and be like, "Hey, man, what's up with the cigar? Why is it like always burning unevenly?" And I never do because I keep just trying to remind myself it's probably burning unevenly because you're sucking on it so much, like you're just puffing on it hard. Like when I'm by myself, like if I'm watching like a show or something and I'm smoking this, I can finish this in 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Like it's just like an hour, maybe an hour, right? I'll get it. Like I will have 2 cigars in like 2 hour shows, right? Yeah, there's a nice complexity. I'm trying to see if there's like particular flavor notes that I can think about or determine that's really kind of pronounced. It's not really a pronounced, there's not individual flavors that are so pronounced. It's really just this kind of, holistic, rounded complexity, right? Deep, brooding, dark, not too heavy, but just darker. Just it's not even dark. It's more like moody. It's a moody, brooding. Moody and brooding is really, I think, the best way to like describe the experience of this cigar. I know Brian smokes these every one as much as he can. What do you think, Brian? How would you? Any thoughts on how you might describe this flavors of this one? And just the coffee goes so well with these. These two are very nice together. That I think there's a component, the Indonesian component tends to be a little bit more earthy. Just gives it that little bit more base note to the coffee that goes well with this cigar. Because this is a very not heavy, but a bassy kind of like dark, that darkness, that broodiness. So I mean that burn is nice. Look at that. The burn is always so nice here. Man. Devin says the depths in Cubans is the depth in Yemen coffee, and I am worried when I go back and have. I think if you ever had this one, this has really nice depth and complexity. It should be much easier to get than Cubans here in the United States. And I don't know if it's as different. Like in the old days, I was just about to say, and the tough thing for you is that you're like in the worst part of the world for Cubans because historically that whole part of the Pacific is controlled by Pacific Cigar in Hong Kong, and they've always had more of a premium price than other parts of the world. But I don't know. I think that's changed because now I think Habanos has gone up worldwide. So I don't know if there's any place you can buy it cheaper. So that kind of blows. What have you been smoking that's been really good while you're out there that you really like gravitate towards? And perhaps you should buy a box or two. What's $3,000? After you've been there for all this time. Oh no, only one left. All right, I'm gonna tap that out because I don't want it to fall. Oh my. Oh yeah, yeah. I was smoking this other one the other day, 2 days ago, and I was sitting there thinking, we're at Bud's house and smoking and watching some shows, watching FBI and CIA, and of course, I'm watching a show, so I'm a little bit distracted. But I felt that I felt that I wasn't sure if I had lost the taste for them. Like perhaps there was a character to it that I no longer liked because I kind of was questioning that as I was smoking it. But now, right here, right now, oh my gosh, this is what I've been missing. I think this must be what I'm experiencing here. This pleasure of a fine cigar that is something that I am familiar with, simpatico with, and just enjoy on a regular basis. I think this is what George enjoys with the El Huenses and all those cigars, which I think just goes to to show that everybody, while we can, I think all of us will agree that cigars are of a certain quality, a certain enjoyment level. But I think it's a demonstration of our differences in palates that shows each of us will gravitate to something maybe a little bit different. Devin says, not too many opportunities to just sit and smoke here. I can't say I've gravitated to anything yet since I don't get to smoke too much and pull it on most of them. And the pull on most of them in classic. Oh, so a little bit tighter, a little bit tighter. And Tony's with it. What's going on, Tony? So, Devin, are you still in Korea or have you ventured to Japan yet? I don't really have any recommendations of Korea. We went to one place in Seoul to smoke. I think I might have said that already, but I don't remember the name of the place. It was really a nice spot, and I don't think I tagged it. We were there back over 10 years ago. Gosh, I haven't been to Seoul since the 2010s, since like 2019, I think was the last time I was there, 2018. All right, see, this is what I'm saying. See how it's burning uneven? Now, this is where I'll see this a lot, and I start to wonder, like, that's what I think, and then it starts to get a little bit bitter, and then I think, okay, I need to just chill on this, pull back. So let's try to slow down. Let's try to slow it down. Let's try to slow down because it's not even 9 o'clock. Now in Japan, excellent, excellent. Yeah, if you're in Tokyo, and I don't know if you're in Tokyo or not yet, but I've always enjoyed smoking at Le Connoisseur, which is the Ginza location. There's one in Ginza. Super fancy, like posh, like lounge, like deep, serious looking lounge with like the guys in like the jackets and the cutting of the ice and the shaking and all that. But a really lovely selection there. That's a great place. I really like going there. Like whenever I'm in town and Moo wants to go out, she's like, let's go to the Connoisseur. I was like, all right, let's go to the Connoisseur. But while I like going to the Le Connoisseur or to, what's it called? There's a jazz club, Havana Club. I know I've told you, but the other one is really nice, but that's more closer to Shibuya. Let me see if I can. I mean, there's nicer places. There's a lot of places to go. Oh, there's even a Cohiba Atmosphere. Cigar Club Tokyo. Those are all probably fancy as well. One night though, we were down in Ginza, and Le Connoisseur closes at a certain time. Oh, there's even a place called Ginza Cigar Shop Bar and Cafe Ginza Honten next door to Le Connoisseur. Oh, that's interesting. But if you're at Le Connoisseur, you walk down the street. There was a bar that we went to because we got the cigars, but they were closing. And so we walked down the street and found this bar. Is it called Jam Room? Gym Room? Oh, yeah, this place. Gym Room. I think that's the place we went to. We went there, brought our cigars, and they were like, yeah, you could smoke here. I was like, oh, thank God. It's just fabulous. Devin says, I just feel bad getting on the subway smelling cigars, but I'll try. I don't think, well, no one's going to sit next to you, but that's not because you smell like cigars. That's just because you don't look Japanese. Right? That's just how it is there. Because most people are embarrassed, right? Most Japanese tend to be embarrassed, and I think they feel like you might want to talk to them in English, and while they studied English, they're not very good at English, so they're always like, "Oh, I don't want to sit." Tony says, "Birthday cigar of a Padron Black 97 Grand Torpedo," and yes, oh, nice, nice. Happy birthday to you, my friend. Happy birthday. Are you out somewhere smoking cigars, or glad you're here on your birthday, man? Yeah, man. It's already. I'm going to say we're past the first third, and man, it's not even 9 o'clock. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. All right, let's see here. Body, to me, this is a very medium-bodied cigar. I'm going to say 8.5, very good plus. And flavor, just this nice rounded. I'm going to say also 8.5, right? So not crazy flavors, right? It's not like, but man, very nice. 17. Okay. I've been pounding through this pencil. This is that Blackwing 604 pencil. Look at that. It's almost to the point where I won't be able to use it. They do have an extension. Like they have an extension thing. You can take this off and you plug in here. So when you get really, really to the end, you can still have a long pencil. But I've been trying to use this to get a feel for it, because this is the one that everybody says is the best one that Blackwing makes. Now, Blackwing makes 4. This is their medium hardness, and there's 2 more that are softer and one that is more firm. I actually like the firmer cigar, the firmer pencil better. But this is the one that but it's working well. It's been a nice experience. I didn't think I would think too much about pencils in my modern era. David's with us. Greetings from Arizona, smoking an LFD, Colorado. Oh, excellent, man. Welcome. How are you, man? How's things in Arizona? I heard it's getting hot again there. Oh man, look at that. That is so nice. We're gonna, at the rate we're going, we're gonna be finished soon. I'm not one to do like Brian does. Like Brian's a guy that likes to smoke multiples in a session. Like he'll smoke 2 of these or whatever cigar he has. He'll just smoke multiples in a row. And I was like, man, I never do that, but this might have to be one of those days. David says it's 90 today. Oh man, 90. Nice. Gosh. I see people like on YouTube, right, posting that they've made videos now. Like while here on the East Coast, it's been like we've been under snow. And I see people posting like from California or from other places, and they look all like warm and like comfortable. Like, man, I so wish I was in those places. So nice. So nice. Speaking of the West Coast, I mentioned in the last couple of streams about that guy Bliss Cigar in Santa Barbara. He streams on Saturday night. Last Saturday night, I happened to catch his stream. Unfortunately, I caught it like right at the end, just when he was about to sign off, and I was like, "Oh man, totally missed out on all the cigar rolling." But yeah, I haven't seen anything like. I know you guys talked about the Drips of God. Haven't seen that yet. I was looking it up. I did watch this show called Bullet Train something. It's a Japanese movie about a bullet train that's going to like blow up. It's kind of a thriller, but it's a thriller in like a Japanese sense, right? The Japanese are very like community oriented and like working together to solve all problems in the world. And it's a movie like that. It's not like here in America, we have like these, if we had like the bullet train, like disaster, there'd be like, Sean Smeaton or something like that. And or not Sean Smeaton, but, Sean, or Jason Statham would be like, doing everything, but like they all work together, the passengers and the conductors. And it's like, oh, that's kind of a nice way to go. And they still keep, able to keep a nice, intensity and like tension, even with all of that. Oh, Rusty says, what's going on, man? How are things going? Just leaving work, so be listening in the car for the next. Excellent. Devin says it is tomorrow where I am, so no. It is tomorrow there. My gosh. What time is it there right now? Is it early in the morning still there? Oh yeah, here we go. All right, Rusty just messaged me, sending the special for the weekend. Traditional mousse frites. Oh my God, traditional and lovely. PEI mussels, onions, celery, and garlic steamed in a white wine butter sauce, served with French fries and lemon garlic aioli. Oh my gosh, look at that. There you are. Turn it over. Look at that. There it is. Look at that. Lovely, Rusty. Lovely. And there, that's better. Look at those frites, man. Ah, it's 11. Okay, okay. Yeah, I Manila, I think it's like 12 hours. In Japan, I think is yeah. All right, awesome. So what? I appreciate you're here, but man, what are you going to do today? It's 11 a.m., man. Time to go out. What would I be doing at 11 in the morning in Tokyo? Have you been to Toyosu Market? I heard it's like a tourist trap there. Like I saw people like sending pictures about it, and I was like, I'm not going to go there. It looks way expensive. It looks kind of manufactured. Last time I was in Tokyo, I wanted to check out this coffee shop that happened to be on the second floor of this building in the middle of the Tsukiji Outer Market. Very like local kind of joint, like super like local, like no tourists. Like I was the only non-local there. Like working class fish guys go there, right? And man, it was cool, but man, outside on the street, it was a madhouse. I was like, this sucks. I was like, like I was hating it. I was hating just being downstairs. I was like, man, I got to get out of here. And I hear it's getting worse. I hear the tourism is like super huge. Like I think now they said, I think I saw something recently that said they have like 13 million tourists, or is it more than that? But when like in the 2010s, like 6 million tourists. So when I went the last time in 2023, man, it was noticeable. I was like, whoa, there really is a lot of tourists here now. Like it wasn't so noticeable so much. Like you would notice a lot of tourists, like maybe if you're at the Scramble Crossing in Shibuya, but like outside of that, or maybe at the temple in Asakusa. But man, now it's like, whoa, it looks pretty crazy. And even like the hotels are much more expensive, not tremendously more expensive, but significantly more. Like the hotels that I used to stay in the Ginza Shimbashi area were always like $75, $85 a night. Now they're like 115, 125 more. I was like, whoa, too much. Devin says, I'm trying to edit my book for the second edition so I don't sound like such an idiot. My plan today is get some more coffee and mochi, but I don't know where yet. Ah, okay, gotcha. Where are you staying in Tokyo this time? Like, what area are you in? I remember a trip that I went to, my first trip to Tokyo in a very, very long time. Like I went there, my first trip was in 1990. And then I didn't go back again until 2007. And in 2007, we went to this pizza joint that used to have a location in Ginza. That location is closed. They only have a location now in Asakusa. And it's called Salvatore Cuomo. And he was the World Pizzaola champion like in 2005 or something like that. But I remember I had his pizza in 2007. I was like, oh my God. It was like transformative. Like I was like, oh, this is pizza like I've never had before. I was like, this is amazing. Neapolitan style, right? Before it started really blowing up in America. And I went back a few years ago. It was still good. But I think that my taste had changed, but that was still pretty good. And Devin says, as an American, I can understand why the Japanese, yeah, I mean, Unfortunately, we're not too well behaved. Us and the Chinese tend to be just terrible behaviors. Like Americans are loud and brash and like in your face, and then the Chinese are just surrounding, they're just swarming everything. You're like, oh my God, man, this is craziness. Like I remember I was in a trip in 2016. I was in a trip in Bangkok, Thailand, and I got to this hotel that they put me in. I was like, it was swarmed with like Chinese tourists. I was like, oh God, here we go. Like everybody's crowding the elevators and crowding everyone. I was like, good God, I gotta get out of this place. Devin says he's deep in Saitama. Oh God, that is far away, isn't it? Actually, it's so far away. I have to look it up now. Saitama. Oh, okay, not too bad, not too bad, but kind of far. That is kind of far. Oh yeah, you're way out of the. You're way far from the Yamanote line. Right on. That's good. That's good, man. Stay out that way. I haven't really, I tend to stay like really close to the city or in the central part of the city. Mainly because, the time, most of the trips that I've gone to Tokyo were really fast. Like the last time that I was there, I think I stayed a week, and that was the longest. Normally I'm there for like 2, 3 days at a time. So it's like I didn't want to spend too much time like traveling. But I think it's nicer if you're outside and more local feeling. And I think the rooms are probably cheaper. Is there a particular reason why you chose Saitama instead of other areas? Oh man, this cigar. We're almost finished. And it's not even 9 o'clock. We're gonna have to get another one. Man, it just hits me on so many guttural notes, like just so much pleasure from this cigar. Yeah, see how it's corrected itself with the burn? Like it was kind of that uneven burn a little while ago. Now it's corrected itself. It's really just more about my errant smoking habits. Man, but those muscles, man, they look good, Rusty. They're looking really nice. I haven't made mules in a long time. But I tell you what, my favorite mussels was always at the old Leal. They would make mules muklad, the uh, the curry mussels. Gosh, man, that curry with cream sauce. Oh my God, man, it was so good. Like I've tried to recreate it, and I was able to do it once. And I think if you use the Madras curry powder, I think that's the key to it to get that flavor that I'm used to. Other curries are good, but yeah, if you're out in Saitama, man, that's far. That's far to go to, especially for cigars. Let's see, Saitama Cigar Lounge. Are there even cigar lounges out in Saitama? Oh yeah, there's a few. There's a few. Bar Revelstoke, White Smoke. Oh, there's a couple of places called White Smoke. Oh, there's a place here by the station called Fujisawa. By Omiya Station, there's a place called Fujisawa next to it, right there. I don't know if that's too close to where you're staying, but that might be a place to go. Yeah, I think if I was like in your situation where I was like, doing more like work in Japan rather than just kind of like hanging out, going to coffee shops and stuff like that, I'd probably stay somewhere like that and then just not really want to leave and not go too far because it's just far. And even though I've got the Suica card, it's like you put 10,000 yen in your Suica card and like you start traveling around the city and suddenly you're like, you're out of money. You're like, what? Out of money? I put 10,000 yen. I have not yet been able to get into the Suica app. I think I have it, but I haven't really started. Did I use? I didn't. Haven't used it yet. I didn't use it. Did I use it the last time? Do I even have it? Let me see. Oh no, I don't have it. See? It says get. Those of you not familiar, the Suica card. I'll get one of these. Is really. Oh, I guess I can't get it. It wants me to give password. But the Suica card is this card. They have a physical card as well as this app that you can use. And what you do is you carry the card or the app, you load it up with cash, and then you swipe it to get into all the transportation systems, whether you're taking whatever train you're taking. And there's so many different train companies in Japan, like just even Tokyo. Like there's the Tokyo metro system, there's the Tokyo metro system, there is the JR system, and there's all these different systems. But but you use this one card and you swipe, and it deducts whatever you need to travel. Really, really amazing app. Like here in Maryland, like if you were to like go to Baltimore subway, you have to get your own card. If you want to use this, I guess you can use that for the MTA. For all the MTA, there's its own card. If you want to go to Amtrak, you have to use a separate payment. You could use all of that in Japan for the same thing. Then if you want to go to the taxi, beep, pay for your taxi. If you want to go to the 7-Eleven and buy some food, beep, pay that as well. It's really fantastic. It's like, oh, this is so nice. So little to worry about. And what I liked about it is that everything's very reasonably priced. Like I remember the last time I was there, it started to rain. So you want to, like, if it starts to rain, you need to buy an umbrella. Umbrella's like $5, and they're nice. They're nice enough umbrellas. It's like $5. And then the weird thing is that, and I learned this many years ago, is that when it rains, people buy umbrellas, and a lot of times they're these clear umbrellas, like they're clear plastic. It's really cool. I really like those umbrellas the best. They're $5, like so super cheap. You buy them, and in a society where they're very meticulous about trash, like there's very few trash cans. Like here in America, we got a lot of trash cans. You just look for trash cans to throw. Most people pack their own trash and then they take it somewhere and they throw it away because they don't have public trash cans as much. When it rains and it stops raining, like I think people just leave umbrellas everywhere. Like there are umbrellas everywhere. Like when the rain finishes, like when the rain is subsiding, people dump their umbrellas. They just leave them in like corners. And so whenever I'm in town and I want an umbrella, I'll just kind of look around. And like if I see some umbrellas kind of hiding out, I grab one. Like actually, one of the videos I'm doing that in one of the videos here on the chat on the main channel where I was in where was I? I was down in south of Yokohama, and I went to this coffee shop called Bugin. And after Bugin, it starts to rain. And I was like, man. And I found this little like apartment building that had like a side street to it, like a little alcove. And there's like 30 umbrellas in there. I was just like digging through the umbrellas, looking for the one that's the nicest. I was like, I'm gonna take this umbrella and use it. I don't know if that's legal. I was like, I don't know if it's legal, but luckily I didn't get in trouble. But oh, so very nice. So very nice. Okay, let's see. We're past the second, third. I mean, I still think for flavor, very good plus. Body, very good plus again. So it's now 9 o'clock. Ooh, I wonder if we're going to make it. Can this last another hour? Unlikely, unlikely. Ooh, man. So like I said, I've been working on my workbench this last couple of days, redoing parts of it. And if you build a workbench, you want to build one that's like super robust and heavy so that it works well and doesn't shake. And I built the one that I have, the one that I normally sit on, back in 1998. And I just, I made it with like these things called half lap joints, and basically used 2x4s and 4x4s, and just made and plywood, and just made this just basic generic like bench kind of thing just to work off of. And I kept it against the wall behind me for many, many years. And so it has like 4 casters on it. But because it was against the wall, casters are kind of expensive. So I was like, man, I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I bought 2 locking casters because, I can only lock the casters that are closest to me. And if the other 2 casters are against the wall, then I can't reach them anyway. So it'd be superfluous to have these locking casters. So I put 2 of them, put them on the front, one side of it, which had been great. But now that I'm using it in the middle of the room, and I'm, hand planing on it, which pushes a lot of lateral forces. So even though those 2 casters are locked, it drags the whole thing across. So I figured I will get locking casters on all 4 legs. And I was going to hold off on it. And I was like, you know what? I've got it already upside down and all kind of like partially disassembled. So I might as well put them on now. So I went and got some. Should be pretty nice. But what I've been working on today was one thing you have to have when you're doing this woodworking stuff is that you want to have work holding, right? It's meaning that you want to be able to put the pieces that you're working on mounted to your workbench so that you can manipulate them. One of the things you might want to put on is something called a dead man. And the dead man is this panel that you put on the side of it, and you groove out your stretchers so that you can slide it to meet whatever need you have. And it's very popular. It's a very ubiquitous thing. And I was like, okay, let me make one of those. So, but a lot of them will be this hourglass shape. They'll just take like a big piece of wood and they'll make an hourglass shape, which is very common. And then there's dog holes in them so you can mount stuff to them. The thing is that while the curvature is kind of common, I feel it's also kind of boring. It's kind of ubiquitous, right? So here's time to take our band off. And if you're not familiar with RoMa, the band has to go forward instead of back because it's really tight. So the only way to do it is to burn your fingers a little bit, pull it off, and release it. But I was trying to think like, what kind of shape would I like? And I really couldn't think of anything. Some of them, they're all like this hourglass shape or like some kind of variation on that. It's like, and I was looking through the pile of stuff that I have, and I found this offcut that I have. And I've been working on it today to make it work. And this is it. This is a piece of Hawaiian koa that is now it is the right dimensions to fit in the workbench. And what you do at the bottom, you make a V cut in the bottom, see? Hurry. And you make this V-shaped runner so it slides on it. And then you cut a long like groove in the upper stretcher. And then you shape this tenon so that it locks in and you just slide it back and forth. It looks kind of interesting. It's unique shape. And I was like, all right, live edge. So there it is. Almost. It's not quite done. It needs a lot more work. Some surfacing on all sides, and then got to put the holes in it. Maybe do that tomorrow night. But I thought that was kind of, different and unique for it. I haven't quite decided, although I'm trying to decide what face is better, right? There's that face, which is kind of interesting with this sapwood here and this swirl. But then there's this side. I think this has a more interesting swirl. So this might end up being the front-facing face of the board. So how are your cigars doing tonight? Are they going well? Any disappointments? Yeah, still nice. There's a little bit of a change in flavor right now. This last puff, maybe a little bit of like brightness, maybe a little bit of sourness to it. Tony says the cigar's going great, but I'm already in the second third. It's just not. It never is. When you find the great cigar, it's never enough. It's always like, man, like this. Look at this. We're like running to the very end already. It's like, oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit stressed about it. Maybe a little bit of bitterness now that last puff. Let me just put this down for a moment. We're going to let that rest for a few minutes so we can get it going on. I'm trying to think of like what cigars have I smoked in the past week that might have been interesting. Have you guys smoked anything really great? I mean, after last week's Fratello, I've actually been having RoMa Craft like nonstop. I've had the Cro-Magnon EMH Fomorian, the green, the Candela wrapper, and then I had a small Intemperance. We were at a cigar shop the other night and had those two. And then I think that's been it. I don't think I had anything since. Yeah, I've just been working on this workbench this last couple of days, just trying to figure out what to do. Modifying different aspects of it, putting more holes for work holding. Yeah, there's right now it's getting a little bit hot, which is something that I find with the Romas, and maybe it's I don't know if it's just necessarily Roma crafts or maybe my the way that I smoke them is that when we get to this part of it, it tends to get hotter and maybe a little more bitterness. It's not as luxuriant in this very last end of it than I normally have through the rest of it. Tony said the LCA hand Lonsdale Maduro was fantastic. Ooh, oh, that sounds good. Sounds great. Where'd you find that one? The only place that I know that sells LCA cigars is, and it's not even near me, is up in close to Philadelphia at Widmer's. They always have a nice selection of LCAs. So how about for you guys, like Rusty and Mom? Like you guys are up in blizzard country. Like how's the blizzard condition? Is it like I'm presuming since Rusty's driving home that they've got all the roads cleared out finally? I mean, it has been almost a week, so we did not get very much snow here. We got very light snow. I mean, we probably had a total of 6, 7 inches maybe, but since at least where I live, the pavement and the ground was still relatively warmer. So a lot of it melted. So by the time that went out to start shoveling, was it Sunday or Monday? Monday. Um, it was fairly easy. Like I didn't really have any issues. It was really a little bit wet, a little bit, maybe a little bit heavy because of the wetness, but it was really light enough it was light enough that I could shovel it easily. And even parts of the driveway had already kind of melted down. Devin's got to run. Take care. Take care of you too, man, Devin. Have a good one out there in Tokyo. Good to see you, and thanks for stopping in. Whew. Mom says roads are clear, 15 inches. Whoa, 15 inches. Wow. Rusty, how many days did you guys add on to your school year now? Because I remember last week you said there was only one day left. So did you guys violate the days and now are an extended year, or did you just get one day off? Another thing in New York, I saw that, what was it? I saw some report where there was a kid that was climbing in one of the bridges, was it Manhattan Bridge or one of the bridges that are on the east side of Manhattan. And I think they were climbing inside the suspension towers. And the kid fell like 50 feet and like really busted himself up. And they had this whole thing about like how the fire department was rescuing him and all this thing. But it turns out that he was with a bunch of friends. And when he fell, they all like abandoned him. They all left and like bugged out and just left him there to die. Like he was inside. Like, how are you going to find some kid inside the bridge? And the little bit that I saw, that evidently one of the kids that ran away felt guilty and then went and called the police, and then they were able to find him. I was like, oh gosh, man, you need to find better friends there, bro. Rusty says, I don't know if I missed it, but how did you guys do with the snow early this week? We didn't do very badly. Like it was very, very. I mean, I went out again by like in the afternoon, so it was fairly clear by that time everywhere. So it wasn't bad at all here. I think if we went to the Eastern Shore, that's the blizzard. They got hit by the blizzard that hit you guys. I think it was heavier there, but we're in Baltimore was very, 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 very manageable. Very manageable. Rusty also said, it was nice enough to smoke outside yesterday, so I celebrated with a CAO pilon. Oh, nice, dude. Gosh, I haven't one of those in a while. And the original Diego M. How are you, man? Good to see you. Have you smelled smoke from D? No, I have not smelled any smoke. Although I don't know what D is. that's some kind of plant explosion. We have not smelt that here. We did have that big smoke, was it last 2 years ago, I think it was, where all those places were burning in Canada and the smoke just kind of like filtered down across the continent. That was kind of strange. Rusty and Tony wants to know if Rusty had the Añejo pilot yet. Oh, that sounds good. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit hotter now because the proximity is always gets a little bit hotter to the end. Rusty says we got about a foot Sunday into Monday. Okay, that's not too bad. A little bit less than what Mom got over in Queens area. Pilon super. Oh, Añejo Pilon. Okay. Is that I'm presuming that the Añejo Pilon is something from Arturo Fuente? Is that right? Rusty says we had delayed opening Tuesday and also Wednesday. Rumor has it we might get hey. Oh gosh, man, this is like going to be one of those winters that just won't go away. It's just going to keep on trying to hold into us. Oh, CEO. Okay. Right, CEO is the one that does the Pilon. Okay. And Rusty has had that one. Another great cigar. Oh, nice. I haven't had the Pilons in quite a while. We had one on the show. Maybe it must be a couple of years ago by now. Oof. I got this chair that I'm sitting in. It's a chair that I found at the Habitat for Humanity restore. Sometimes I go to there and I just look around to see what they have because they sell tools, used tools, and then they sell all kinds of furniture and stuff. And I saw this chair there, and I was like, let me get this. And I sat and I was like, oh, this is fairly comfortable. It was at a great price. It was like $5. I was like, oh, I'll buy that chair. I'll use that as kind of around. And it was a chair that I thought maybe I could restore, but I haven't really thought much about it because it's actually quite a comfortable chair to sit in. I looked it up. It's by a company. I forgot the name. I think I might have told you guys about this, but it turns out that if you bought this chair today from certain dealers, this chair is like $1,500. I was like, what? $1,500. It was made in the 1920s. It's a courthouse chair, so it's meant for like to be sat in the courthouse, like if you're a juror or something, or in the gallery, and it's meant to be sat in for like hours on end. So it's actually very nice. Like I'll take it outside and have a cigar by the fire with it. Rusty says we still have 2 more snow days to burn. If we go through those, then they will just take away spring break days. We never had to add days to end. Oh, okay. Well, George said earlier that they've added on 4 more days to the school year, so it's now ending on the 18th of June. Yeah, see, it's a little bit, the burn is starting to get a little bit uneven. I need to be a little bit more calm with it. Rusty, I presume you're not going to be going to San Diego this year for the coffee trade show? My friends have been asking me if I'm going to go, and I was like, I was thinking about it, but I was also thinking about maybe skipping. San Diego's kind of a cool town, but man, it is expensive. Like the last time I was in San Diego was quite a few years ago. My friend, she wanted to go, so I went with her. And it just so happened to be right around the time of Comic-Con, so it kind of summertime. And man, prices of hotels were like astronomical. If you stayed in downtown San Diego, it was like $300 a night. I was like, that's craziness. I think even now for this event, it's like around that same price. I was like, that's crazy. The last time I ended up staying closer to La Jolla in this valley area, I got a Motel 6. And Motel 6s are, they're like normally $55 a night. So like cheap rooms that are cheap and cheap looking, cheap amenities. They give you like a little teeny tiny soap and that's all, no shampoo, no conditioner. And I remember, man, that was the only place that I could find that was as cheap as it could be. And I was like, man, it was $150 a night. I was like, that really blows. So I'm not terribly motivated to go. They need to like find locations where they had it in Charlotte one year, which I thought was very reasonably priced, but everywhere they go is always expensive. Tony says, nice. I wanted to try it, but still didn't find any singles. I don't know who has it. Maybe they have them at CI. We're still on track for the hang for a hang on the 29th of March at CI. My friend who works there said he will make sure that he works, so that'll be a nice hang, I think. We are coming down to it. Tony says that the other thing that was surprisingly good was the Cohiba Rubicon. Oh, nice. Pretty good or just pretty? Pretty damn good for a $9 cigar. Okay, right on. That's what we need more of. We need more of like nice cigars for like $7 to $9. That would be really ideal. Like this, when this first came out, this was like $7, $8, $9. Now I think they're probably going to be right around 13. It's like, man, $13. Like we went to this one cigar shop last week, and nothing was below like 11. I was like, man, 11. No RoMa crafts at least. I was like, man. Yeah, still nice. But I think very consistent. And that's one thing I like about this cigar is that it's a very consistent performing cigar. I mean, it's early enough now that we're going to have to find a follow-up cigar to this one. One thing that I find with like these cigars is that as you get to the end, the intensity, the heaviness starts to grow. Yeah, I haven't seen too many shows lately. I watched a couple more episodes of that Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And I read the forums and like people are very up in arms with the Academy. It's like there's always people that find like problems with all the Star Treks. And I remember when the Star Trek Next Generation was out, people loved that. Of course, that was like the classic one. And then DS9 came, people like that. Or actually, I don't know if people like that. I never watched DS9 because I was like, they're on a space station, like they're static, and I was like, I'm not going to watch that. But I ended up watching Voyager, and I was a big fan of Voyager back in the day. But I remember even during Voyager's run, people were always like complaining about it. It's like, oh, it sucks. It's this, it's that. I think now people look back and they think that Voyager's really good, and I was like, well, of course it's really good. So I think that like with all these Star Treks, like every Star Trek that comes out, they always complain. People always complain about it. So like it's not people. One of the complaints that I see a lot of people talk about is like, it's not as good as the original. And I was like, it's not that it's not as good as the original. It's not that it's more woke. And the people like to say it's more woke. And I was like, it's not more woke than the original. I mean, like in the original Star Trek, you had a white guy kissing a black girl. Like that is just like outrageous. Like nowadays, no big deal, right? In 2026, no big deal. But in what 1966, whenever it came out, that was a big deal. A Russian guy on the bridge with a Japanese dude, man, that's people. People are crazy. But I was watching this one guy talk about it. And I was like, man, what's not? Star Trek hasn't changed. What's changed is that you've changed. You've gotten older. They don't like that. But so far, I've enjoyed it so far. I haven't seen like the most recent like 3 episodes, but I think I'm up to episode 5. I think they're up to 8 by now. Rusty says I was planning to go, but then there's something planned just before, so I can't get out. Oh, for SCA. Okay, I believe Ralph is going. I'll have to reach out to Ralph and see. Brian's asking, David, how did you find out about this podcast? If you don't mind me asking. Yeah, how did you find out? We're always interested. And Rusty says we better do the CI thing. The original OG. Yeah, man. You guys got to plan for that. Plan for the 29th. That's plenty of time to plan. Oh, man, my fingers are burning. I'm game for that, man. I'm game for that. Oh, there it goes. Just too hot. All right, let me go grab another cigar and then we'll continue on. Be right back. We'll be back in a moment. I'm still wearing the mic, so it's going to be out of signal for a moment. I do wonder how far it will take for me to walk away before we lose signal. All right, almost back. All right, here we go. Gotta pop that other door open so we get more airflow through here. All right, here we go. Rusty says, find the My Blue Maven. Find the My Blue Heaven. Nice quick smoke. That is actually, I've already smoked that one. We used that in one of the episodes like last year. What I did find is this. This is the Partagas Puritos. These are little tiny cigars. Comes in a pack of 10, in a tin of 10. I thought this might be a nice little 1 or 2 or 3. I like these every once in a while. I don't really smoke these many. I usually smoke these minis, the little teeny tiny ones, but I was going to grab those, but I thought this would be kind of fun. I haven't smoked this in a long time. These are probably, gosh, these are probably from the early 2000s. Mom says, how many hours from New York? Oh, that's a good question. How far is it from you, Rusty? Because you're probably about 45 minutes or so from where Mom is. So I think these are machine made. I think these are the Dominican Partagas. But look at that. Look how, I don't know if you can see this, but look how yellow that is. These have been sitting around for a long time. Oh, the band's coming off. Oh, there we go. We'll have this one. Okay, there we go. Let me not burn those matches for that. Whoops. The one thing since the workbench has been discombobulated, everything in here is discombobulated along with it. It's got everything is just kind of like everywhere. It's very, very stressful. It's going to take a half an hour just to do this. Oh, I think that's it. Good. I know they're in one of the boxes over there. I just grabbed this one. I'm Brian for the box of matches. The Easton one is 2 hours and 45 minutes in Baltimore. Yes. Actually, Rusty, not the Hamburg one. We're going to go to the one that's in Easton or Bethlehem. Because that's the one where Troy works. So that'll be, I think that's a nice one. The Hamburg one's kind of cool, but so nice. These are actually kind of nice, actually. A little bit of a little spicy. It's very different flavor from the RoMa. Like it's landing on the palate very well. Because it's a small cigar, of course, it's a little bit tighter draw. All right, let's see here. Let's look at our scoring for our RoMa. I mean, burn and draw very high. So I'm gonna say that's a 9. Consistency 9. So let's say overall, we did a lot of 8.5. So I'm going to say 8.5. Is that right? No, maybe 8.75 will be better. Oh, huh. That's interesting. So we had a lot of 8.5s throughout most of it. 8.5, 8.5, 8.75 for the beginning, and then 8.5s for the whole like thirds, then 9 for the burn and draw, and then so I'm saying 8.75 for our overall score, which gives us a total score of 86.5. Now that's interesting because 86.5, the one that we reviewed in 2022, in episode 87, the Revenge, was 87. So more or less the same score wise. I am curious. We might revisit the Revenge later this year when the new ones come out, because I have been curious to see like a comparison between the two. Like how much will there be any change between the cigars? Especially since there's been like a 2-year gap between production runs. Rusty says, just to clarify, which CI does Troy work at? The main one in Hamburg or Easton? I think he works at the Easton one. I'm almost 100% positive because that's where he lives. That's the one I was thinking that you're talking about. And I think actually the one in Easton is the one that there's two right there. There's the big warehouse where they have all their shipping in Bethlehem. And then there's the small one. And there's a small one because I know there's a small because I remember I plugged it in one day when I was driving through there a few years ago. And I was trying to go to this one. I drove by it. I totally didn't even realize because I thought I was going to the other one. But there's one in downtown Bethlehem, I think it is. And then there's one right by one of the freeways that's just off the freeway. I think he works at that one. And I think that's a nice, that's the one I go to a lot, or especially because as I'm driving. And the real original Diego M asks, have you ever smoked a Jack? Oh gosh, I know. Easton, Rusty, yes, exactly. And Rose's here. What's going on, Rose? How are you? Mysterious question. Have you tried Lila Smokes? No, I'm not even familiar with Lila Smokes. Tell me more. I'm interested to know. I'm not familiar with that. So that name. I mean, that's the one thing with cigars is like there's a lot of smaller companies that will release cigars, smaller brands, and because they're smaller brands, and typically it's just the brand owner that's releasing them. They tend to be regionalized, right? Because they don't get to travel a lot. Like very few startup cigar companies are like last week's Fratello. Like when Omar started, he was just on the road constantly going around the country, visiting cigar shops, promoting his brand. A lot of brand owners just don't have that kind of resource available to them. Rusty says, Easton, cool, even closer for me. Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. I figured you'd like that one better. Lila Smokes. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Lila Smokes. It could be like where you are in the country. So depending where you are, that's probably where it could be. Lila Venal can be tough for your first time. Oh, this might be. For such a small cigar that's pretty old, you would expect that it'd be would have mild it out, right? It would just be like less than it was. But this is actually quite like this tiny cigar is holding up its own after the RoMa Craft, right? The RoMa Craft's fairly heavy. Like I said, it's a very broody and mooding kind of a. And Real Original Diego says that it's not Lila, it's Isla Vanil. Huh. The exact address. Let's see here. Let me look it up. I don't know if you guys noticed this if you use the iPhone, but I find that I saw a report about this that that says that Apple is programming their phones so that it becomes harder to type. And I found that to be pretty accurate. All right, here it is. Cigar Superstore, Cigars International. This is the one in Bethlehem, PA, 4078 Nazareth Pike. I don't know if it's gonna, there we go. Nazareth Pike in Bethlehem, PA. Which let's see if let's see, I'm gonna say I can run the directions in. Let's see. If you're in Queens, oh, so Queens, it's a shorter trip. It's only an hour 48, so almost 2 hours. Westchester. Let's see. I know I always forget that detail, Westchester. I don't know why I have a hard time remembering that. Oh yeah, just a little bit longer. 2 hours, 4 minutes. So not too much farther. What are you thinking, Rusty? Early on Sunday? What time do they close on Sunday? Let's see. What are their hours? Sunday hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So we have to be out by 5. Rusty says, I hate the one in downtown Bethlehem. Parking is tough. Yeah, I totally blew by it. I didn't even realize that I was driving past it. Because I remember it was on my GPS, right? And it says to go here. And then, it never tells you, like, at least Google doesn't really say, okay, you've arrived. It just, if you pass it, it just wants to reroute you again. It's like, where am I going? It's like, I passed it. And then it was like, turn right, turn right, turn right. I was like, well, I'm going here. And then I realized where it was. I was like, oh, forget it. I'm going to the other one. I like the other one you said Troy works at, and I believe that that's the one, right? I believe that, but their warehouse is actually the one that you're thinking about the one that's off of Nazareth Pike is just a store. They actually have a separate one, like an industrial area. That's their warehouse, and I've been to that one because I had a meeting there one year, and man, it is massive. Like it is like a big, like 30-foot, like foot building, like warehouse. It's like, whoa, this is crazy. They took me on a tour of the facility. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, the one in Nazareth is kind of strange. The one in Bethlehem is kind of odd. But yeah, I like the one that's in off the highway. That's a nice spot. Fairly large size, good selection. The one nice aspect of going to the other one, the one that you're talking about, the one in Hamburg, is that it's next door to the Cabela's. And I remember it used to. I remember years ago, Cabela's was open 24 hours. Because I distinctly remember one night stopping by on a road trip somewhere, stopping by like late at night, and I was like, well, we'll go check it out. Yeah, this burrito is actually pretty pleasant. Yeah, I finally got some coffee. I ordered some coffee, Rusty, from Miguel. Our friend Miguel has a place called Paradise Roasters in Hilo, Hawaii. And I was like, I have this idea for a video for the main channel. So I ordered up some coffee for him that was grown in Hawaii. One of the nice thing, interesting thing with Miguel, he's very into like these very small production runs with very small coffee growers. And I was like, oh, what do you got? Actually, I called him up and said, hey, man, what do you got in this? Like, do you have any coffee that's grown in Hilo itself? And he's like, no, nothing in Hilo, but outside of Mountain View. I was like, okay, that's close enough. That works. Miguel's interesting because he's managed to cultivate a clientele that is very elastic in their coffee buying, meaning that they're very open to pricey coffees. So I was like the coffee that I ended up getting from him cost me a total of with shipping was like $50 for 4 ounces. I was like, oh, but it's his quality is exquisite, so I don't really have an issue with that. And it's fairly long lasting. Whenever we finish the live stream, I've been usually on the same time that we do this live stream. There's this other YouTuber that I like to watch. He does a live stream at 8. I think he does at 8 o'clock also. 8 o'clock on Thursday nights. This guy, Epic Woodworking, a guy named Tom McLaughlin. I actually met him when we were in up in New England back in May, and he does a live stream, a woodworking live stream, of course, and he does it every Thursday night. He actually didn't do one. The first one he did was last week since the holiday. So I was like, man, when's this guy going to come back? But usually when he does his live stream, after we finish here, I usually sit around and watch his for a little while. Rusty says we need to set the exact location so we're not. Oh yeah, so let's set that now. The Nazareth Pike location of the Cigars International on the 29th of March, Sunday. What's a good time? Maybe noon, 1 o'clock. I wonder what's good to eat around there. Like I remember in the times that I've been there, which were always like I would usually stop by when I'm driving through the area. And I remember there's a few times that I've been in there. I was like, man, where can I get something to eat? Because it's like hungry time. Never really figured that out. Yes, they do have a lounge there. They do have a lounge. It's really a nice setup. It's a lot of different areas to sit and smoke. So it's a. I think it'll be a nice spot to hang. Ah, Nashville, nice. Yeah, this is not bad. This Purito's not bad. Feels a little bit dry at the moment. After that last puff. I'm hoping that we will finally start to move into more pleasant weather than the 30 and below level that we've had for the last couple months. It's nice to have the doors open and just kind of be kind of chill and not warm, but relatively comfortable, right? I'm sure, George, you're enjoying that much better now. We ended up going to with George Brightman over to Mike's house a couple weeks back. That was a good time outside in the cold, having the what it, roasted oysters, barbecued oysters, but basically you fire roasted oysters. So you build a fire, and then we take the oysters, toss them on the fire, let them boil a little bit, cook a little bit, and then pop them. You know, actually, I've never really been a big fan of cooked oysters, like oysters Rockefeller, like was fine, but like if I wanted to have oysters, I always preferred to have raw. But these, man, these fire roasted were pretty darn good. I was like, I like that. George says, I'm patiently waiting for shorts and t-shirts. Then, oh yeah, man, that'll be nice. That'll be nice. We're almost there, man. We're almost there. Like right now, I'm just wearing this long sleeve and this fleece, so it's not too bad. But I do have the heater, so it's not quite warm enough yet for what I'm wearing. But with the heat, it's not too bad. But yeah, it'd be nice to have that warmer weather. But then we'll get to that warm weather where it's just too darn hot. Then it's like, oh man, brutal again. That's the thing. I don't know how it is up in the New York area or other parts of the country, but here in Maryland, like we tend to go from like just a couple weeks. There's just a couple weeks of really pleasant weather, and then it gets hot again. You're like, oh God. It's always like cold and then hot. There's not too much time of like perfect weather, you know. I mean, look at that. The smoke's really nice. Like this is actually surprisingly quite enjoyable. And it's a very small cigar. I don't know if these are, I mean, I'm sure these are still available. I don't know what they cost anymore, these puritos, but they're actually, you know, for a short, like half an hour cigar, that's not bad. Might be worth you exploring. And how's our coffee doing? Still fairly warm. The nice thing is that since it's not as cold, it has been like some of the other smokes we've had. It's cold enough that like the coffee is colder than it is at the moment after all this time. Almost done this one with this. So what do you guys got going on for the weekend? Anything interesting? I was trying to think, what am I supposed to be doing this weekend? I don't know. One of my friends, she's having a birthday party, but I don't think that's for another couple weeks. Oh, I'm burning my fingers now. Almost time to put this one down. Ah, yeah, that's not bad. Not bad. That's actually a surprisingly enjoyable little teeny tiny smoke. Okay, that's good. That's good. Time starting to burn my fingers. And this Raglan roast, the Mocha Java, that's from New Zealand. Thank you, Andrew. This turned out to be a very nice coffee to join the cigars for tonight. All right, there it is. We had the RoMa Craft Intemperance BA21 Revenge, revisited that, 86.75. Held up fairly well since the 2022 review we did on it, then episode 87, where it got an 87. So very, very close. I mean, it's pretty much the same score, essentially. And then we had this Purito to kind of round out the evening. That was very nice, too. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this week. We're back again next week. Good to see all of you. Thanks for hanging out, as always. Back again next week with more of the Thursday Night Hang here in the Coffee and Cigars live stream. So hope you have a great one. And you know the whole deal. I mean, where's the... And we'll see you next time.